Go good, you guys already know what we got today. We got the Sunday SPY breakdown, right? We're gonna be going straight into it, man. Straight first things first, man. Let me pull up these notes and figure out what we got, right? All right, so here's the Sunday prep, man. So this past week we had oil prices rise, right? So we end up going to crude. Let's go to the crude oil real quick, and let's look at the oil prices, right? So we've seen in the past since right here, July, the 1st of July, we end up going from the 60s, right, to now we're at 81, right? So oil is rising, the price of oil is rising, meaning that gas prices are still staying high, man. So that's what's going on. So as the oil prices rise, right, inflation is high, stocks tend to pull back, which is why we end up getting this pullback in the past week. We still have that Iran war and get straight back into it, right? So with that being said, this past week we had semiconductors and memory hit the hardest, right? You had the SMH ETF, the semiconductor ETF, and then the memory ETF that I like, DRAM, DRAM, right? They're at prime buying opportunities. This is not financial advice. This is just what I see, right? You have SMH at a prime buying opportunity of 556, right? I gotta load the boat zone at 527. My first target was $580, right? So if you're somebody looking to get to a semiconductor ETF to take advantage of the semiconductors that are running and powering AI, this is the way to go, right? Also, DRAM at $52, right? This is a stock that we were able to pick up at $55, $60. It's now at $52, even lower, right? Last time we were at this price of 52 or 46 is when we started to run up from 46 all the way up to $80. So this is a $100 stock in my opinion. It's the memory ETF that tracks all the top memory companies into one. So DRAM is something to watch for. On top of that, let's get into the SPY chart. So this is what we're here for, right? On the hour time frame, right? This is what I'm going to be looking at for SPY. So this past week we ended up coming from bouncing off 754 as a high, and we had 740 as a low. If we go to the daily time frame, we can see that on Wednesday, July 15th, we ended up bouncing off that high of 754. And then right here, Friday, we ended up bouncing off that low of 740, right? So with that being said, now that we're in this range between 747, right, as a resistance and that support of 740, right, with us opening up tomorrow and its price being at 743, we don't know what's going to happen overnight, right? As Sunday happens overnight, we may end up gapping up, we end up gapping down, who knows? But right now we're in this range, and what I want to see is I want to see us test that 740, right? If we get to 740, I want to see, do we test and go back up, or do we get to 740, break it, retest it from the bottom side, and maybe even go even lower, right? Finally testing those lower levels, right? Possibly 730, 735, right? Those type of levels. Let's say that we end up moving up to the upside. Man, let's get this stuff up out the way. Let's say we end up moving up to the upside, man. What I see is to the upside, I see us testing that 747. You see, we couldn't get above that level on Friday. All Friday, we ended up testing that 747 level that we couldn't get above, right? So that is a prime level that I'm going to be watching. And that was a previous support, right? So 747 was previously a support level, and now it has become a resistance level after we broke out of it. So tomorrow I want to see if we end up testing it to the upside. I want to see us test this level. Do we reject, right? Do we get to 747 and do reject, right? Or do we get to 747, break it, test it, and continue back up to the upside even higher, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking at on SPY for tomorrow. Let's go back and keep the news that we have in mind. Some news that we have right here going into tomorrow. So back to why the semiconductor and the memory chips end up getting hit the hardest, right? The two narratives that ended up hitting the memory companies, the memory chips, was the fact that China's Moonshot AI release. So China's Moonshot AI release, they released a Kimi K3. I don't even know what it is, but it's an open weight model that benchmarks near leading Benchmarks near leading U.S. frontier models like Anthropic's Cloud and OpenAI's GPT. Its debut caused a sharp semiconductor and AI stock sell-off, reviving fears of DeepSeek moment, right? You also have, this is one that matters a lot, China's largest memory manufacturer, right, significantly impacted the global semiconductor industry by helping alleviate crushing memory shortages during the AI supercycle. They expanded to an 8% global market share, and its massive production scale enabled domestic tech giants to bypass curbs while altering global memory pricing dynamics. That said a lot of gibberish. And for me to sum that gibberish up, in short, we have a new Chinese memory company on the stock market, and they're signaling possibility of growth slowing down for the top companies already, due to margins, right? So if we have these top memory companies already growing a lot and making a lot of money, and then you have this Chinese company who's, hey, we have the same type of quality, but we're charging even less. So if they come in and start charging less for the same type of quality, if the quality is the same type of quality, that could be a sign of the top companies slowing down, possibly, right? Because if they're charging so high, the people who would the money, right? The companies with the money who want to buy into the memory, they might be going to the company who is charging a little bit less so they can have more bang for their buck, right? But this all depends on how quality it is, right? We also know that last year during I forgot around the time it was, but Nvidia ended up having a big sell-off, right? Tech companies ended up having a big sell-off when the DeepSeek came out, China's AI model, right? They ended up saying, hey, this new AI model is cheaper and it's just as good as the AI models that we have in the US, and it caused the US stocks to go down. But then they came right back up because we know at the end of the day you can make something cheaper, but the US has the quality that most companies and most countries do not have, right? So that is our edge, right? So with that being said, even though we have this pullback on the memory sector and the semiconductor sector, this is the part that runs AI, and I personally don't think it's going anywhere. But that's the outlook on SPY. Let's go to the CNBC just to see what we may be opening up to tomorrow. U.S. death toll rises again as Iran war escalates over the weekend. So we have the war that escalated over the weekend. U.S. says it hit Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces that launched Friday strikes on Jordan. So we ended up launching strikes on Friday. The U.S. said a third American service member was killed in action during recent fighting with Iran. So we have American service members being killed. When asked about Iran no longer abiding by June's interim peace agreement, U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly said he doesn't care less. So we have conflict going on still with U.S. and Iran. It doesn't seem like this is getting much better. Markets may react kind of rough to this overnight, right? So for the futures, it opens up at 3 p.m. and we'll be able to see from 3 p.m. to 6 a.m. tomorrow what exactly is occurring by the time that we open up in the stock market. So join the Discord at Full Circle Wealth. Click the link to stay tuned for what happens in the morning as well and overnight, right? So the developments over the weekend further jeopardized last month's fragile truce between the two sides, raising fresh concerns over oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, and it indicates that the war with Iran could be entering a new deadly phase that could throw the world economy back into chaos, right? U.S. Central Command said Sunday American forces found unidentified remains at the location of the Jordan strikes that killed 2 on July 17th, and they are working to identify the remains. The fatality brings the U.S. death toll to 17 since the conflict began in February. All right, so we got people dying. Their truce is unraveling. It's looking like it's not getting better. I'm going to put this link into the Discord for you guys to read yourself. I'm going to put it in the stock market news section for you to read yourself. So join the Discord if you guys want to find it. Breaking down the news for Sunday Aspire breakdown. But yes, with that being said, man, this gives me news that, hey, if I said that 740 was the level I'm watching, we may end up opening up below 740. If we open up below 740 tomorrow, that now becomes my resistance, right? And I'm going to be looking for this. If we open up below, I'll be looking for this, and then even lower to 730 or 35. So that's what's going on tomorrow, and we will see how the market reacts. If you guys want to stay tuned, go ahead, Like I said, click the link in the bio to join us at Full Circle Wealth. I drop it all in there. Follow us on Instagram at Full Circle Wealth. Follow me at Official Goal Getter. And once again, I already said everything I needed to say. Look, it's your boy Go Getter. Hope you learned something. Link in the bio to come join us. And I'll see you guys next week.